Welcome to PM Movie Recaps. Today's pick is a comedy and drama of 2009, 17 Again. If you're ready, let's enjoy the video. In 1989, 17-year-old star athlete Mike O'Donnell's girlfriend Scarlett Porter tells him that she is pregnant, just moments before his likely scholarship-clinching high school championship basketball game. Mike plays the first few seconds of the game, then walks off the court and goes after Scarlett, abandoning his hopes of going to college and achieving a career that could support their future. 18 years later, 37-year-old Mike finds his life stagnant and boring, abandoning any project he starts. Scarlett, now his wife and mother of their 2 children, has filed for divorce, forcing him to move in with his geeky, yet extremely wealthy, best friend, Ned Gold. He has quit his job after he is passed over for a promotion he believed he deserves, and his high school-age kids, 17-year-old Maggie and 16-year-old Alex, want nothing to do with him. Later, while driving, an encounter on a bridge with a janitor transforms Mike back into his 17-year-old self. In the morning he is back at Ned's, washing off the dirt. He is shocked to see himself young. Ned does not recognize him and attacks him with an axe. He has many medieval weapons lying around the house. They continue the Star Wars-themed battle until Ned picks up a photo and sees Mike in his high school days and realizes it's actually him. Ned tries to understand what happened to Mike through his comics, to no avail. Mike knows it was the janitor. He goes to the school to look for him. It turns out there is only one janitor at this school, and she is a lady. Mike notices a puddle and follows it. The puddle leads him to the basketball court. He deciphers that his spirit guide janitor wants him to relive his senior year. At home, Ned is just casually playing on his 5 monitors. He yells in Mike's face that he will never ever go back there. A moment later he is at the school pretending to be Mike's father to enroll him in. Mike is dressed in what 80s kids would consider him. When they are called in to see the principal Jane, it is as if Ned sees an attractive woman for the first time and can barely keep his hands to himself. After a few inappropriate comments and an embarrassed laugh, Mike is accepted, and they finally leave. When Mike realizes he looks like a fool in the hall, Ned buys him a new Audi and some fancy clothes. After having a fancy first day of school, he gets a call from Scarlett about the divorce, which he completely forgot about, and they reschedule. After he finishes his call, he sees Alex, his son, in a sticky situation. Mike helps him out and they bond over lunch. Since Mike is new here, Alex tells him everything about the school, from the hottest girl Nicole to the biggest bully Stan. He was the one who taped him to the toilet and he's Maggie's boyfriend. Mike is shocked at how little he knows about his kids and comes to believe that his mission is to help them. Through their kids, Mike spends time with Scarlett, who notes his remarkable resemblance to her husband, but rationalizes it as an odd coincidence. Deciding to also try and fix his relationship with Scarlett, Mike begins to finish all the garden projects he abandoned as an adult under the pretense of getting volunteer credit. He does his best to separate Stan and Maggie while also encouraging Alex to be more confident so he can make the basketball team and go out with a girl he has a crush on. Mike has difficulty resisting his desire for Scarlett despite the relationship's clear inappropriateness. Ned, meanwhile, begins to pursue the school's principal Jane through increasingly extravagant stunts in order to win her affections, which she adamantly rebukes, though she agrees to a date after he offers to buy laptops for the school. On their date, Jane is completely unimpressed with Ned until he drops the sophisticated rich guy persona and admits he is actually a geek. Jane then reveals her own enthusiasm for geek culture by speaking to him in Elvish, and the two hit it off. Mike throws a party to celebrate a basketball game win at Ned's house while Ned is out with Jane, where he confronts Stan, who had recently dumped Maggie for not sleeping with him. Mike gets knocked out and wakes up to Maggie trying to seduce him. Mike tells his daughter that he is in love with someone else and Maggie leaves, much to Mike's relief. Scarlett arrives at the party worried about her kids attending, but Mike shows her that Alex has finally managed to get together with his crush. The two have an intimate conversation where Mike, caught up in the moment, tries to kiss her. Disgusted, she storms off as Mike tries unsuccessfully to explain his true identity. On the day of the court hearing to finalize Scarlett and Mike's divorce, Ned and Mike make a joke out of themselves, but before they are escorted out by the guards, Scarlett asks the judge to let Mike read the letter he claims to have from her husband. He reads a long story about losing his way and loving her very much, which Scarlett can relate to. He does not want Scarlett to proceed with the divorce. He states that although he couldn't set things right in the beginning of his life, it doesn't change the fact that he still loves her. After he exits, Scarlett notices that the letter is actually the directions to the courtroom and she begins to grow curious. As a result, she postpones the divorce by a month. Frustrated that he could not salvage his marriage, Mike decides to once again pursue a scholarship and move on with a new life. During a high school basketball game, Mike reveals himself to Scarlett. As Scarlett runs away, Mike decides to chase her down, just like he did in 1989, but not before handing the ball off to his son. Mike is then transformed back into his 37-year-old self, and happily reunites with Scarlett, saying that she was the best decision he ever made. As Mike prepares for his first day as the new coach at his kid's school, Ned, who has successfully started a relationship with Jane, gives him a whistle, both happy with their new starts in life. Thank you for watching, but before leaving, please make sure that you click subscribe and turn on the notification so that you can enjoy watching more videos like this.